Hello there, welcome to the channel. This week I thought we'd start a new series looking at Daggerheart GM moves and showcasing them with some real gameplay examples. Albeit I will probably go at a much faster pace and make more moves than you usually would in these situations. But hopefully it will spark some ideas for everyone. We're going to be starting things off this week with social encounters. So, without further ado, take a look over here. Winifred, a goblin wizard, Rolo, a galloper warrior, and Mrs. Shanks, a human rogue, are in a heated debate with the leader of the City Watch, an irksome fellow by the name of Bramwell. The group are trying to convince Bramwell to investigate a thieves' den which they have discovered nearby. "Come on, do you think I was born yesterday?" says Bramwell. "If I investigated every peddler, pickpocket and poacher that some muggins off the street told me about, we'd be run off our feet." "Please, listen to us," says Mrs. Shanks. GM moves are usually made when the players fail an action roll or roll with fear. So let's say that Mrs. Shanks makes a presence roll to try and convince Bramwell to help. In this example, she gets a failure with hope, and the GM makes his first move. A failure with hope should always be a softer move, and here's what the GM does. Example move number 1. The NPC laughs in the player's face. "Did you hear that, boys? This little lady thinks she can bat her eyelids, and I'll do whatever she asks." Mrs. Shanks goes red, as the guards all laugh at her. This move is a great example of show how the world reacts from the example moves page of the rulebook. If you want to make it a slightly harder move, ask the player to mark a stress too. It's a great way to get the players to start loathing the NPC. "Now perhaps you'd like to run along now, we're pretty busy tonight." Winifred looks at the other guards under Bramwell's command. They are standing around looking bored.
"Your guards look like they have time on their hands to me."
The GM spots an opportunity for a move. Now the players have not failed an action roll or rolled with fear, so the GM must spend a fear to make their move. Example move number 2. Resurface a troublesome NPC. The GM brings the party's attention to one guard in particular, who is standing at the rear of the group, and points out that it is the same guard whom the party knocked out during a brawl at the tavern last week. The GM also tells the party that the guard has not yet identified the group, but is starting to pay them closer attention.
"Oh boy,"
whispers Winifred.
"It's that guard again. Stay calm and try to hide your faces."
A quiet tension grips the group. Without a word, they draw their hoods down and cinch their scarves close, shadows swallowing their features. The air thickens with unease as they disguise themselves, desperately trying not to make it obvious and betray what they're doing to Bramwell. The GM asks the party to make a group finesse roll to see if they're able to achieve this. Winifred is nominated as the leader because it was her idea, and you can read more about group action rolls on page 97 of the rulebook. Winifred gets a success with fear. Bramwell did not notice anything peculiar as the group tried to conceal their faces. But it was a roll with fear, so the GM makes a move. Example move number 3. The NPC turns their back. The GM describes how Bramwell is done talking to the group, and without saying a word, he spins around 180 and begins a conversation with his fellow guards. "Well, this is rubbish," says Mrs. Shanks. "Maybe I should stab the miser in the back." "Let me deal with this," says Rolo. Rolo clamps onto the guard's wrist and with a sharp twist forces him to face him. He rises to his full height as if inflating. He lowers his voice until it's barely more than a rumble. "Start doing your job," he breathes, slow and certain, "or you'll get your just desserts." Rolo makes a strength roll to try and intimidate the watch leader. He gets a failure with fear. This is not going well for the group. The GM makes his move, and a failure with fear should be a hard move. Example move number 4. The NPC offers a dangerous ultimatum. "Listen, Sonny Jim," Bramwell says, his voice smooth as glass and twice as cold. "You don't frighten me. Not one bit. Now, here's how this ends. You're all going to turn and walk away right now. If you don't, my men are going to run you through." Winifred gulps. Rolo looks to Mrs. Shanks. There is fire in her roguish eyes. Then he nods sagely, takes Winnie's arm and pulls her away.
We can take them,
says Winnie. Not today. It's a fight we don't need. We go to the town master and put these vermin where they belong. But Mrs. Shanks will not be shepherded away. She breaks free and storms back like a gathering squall, striding up to Bramwell. When she speaks, her words come out small, more plea than a roar. You should be setting an example. This town looks to you. Who do you think you are? Power's turned your head. If you're a man, help us, like you swore you would. Again, the GM asks Mrs. Shanks to make a strength action roll to see what Bramwell thinks of this outburst. She rolls a failure with hope, and the GM makes a soft GM move. Example move number 5. Tell them to run, or you attack. Bramwell is cold as he draws his sword. His men close ranks, silhouettes behind steel. He studies the blade as he speaks, casual cruelty wrapped around each syllable. Lucky for you, I'm feeling generous, he says to the little woman. I'm going to give you to the count of 5 to run, and then my men will clobber you. But 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's leave that scene there. Time to look at a different example, an old classic. This party own a general goods store and want to get the best possible deal for the supplies they are buying. Sound familiar? But the GM won't be making it too easy for the party. Bjorn, a Furbolg warrior, and Bell, a fungal druid, walk up to the counter where the store owner, Oswaldo, is dusting down the counter.
How much for a minor health potion?
Asks Bell. Well, we're running short on those, says Oswaldo, scratching his chin. But I'll let this go for a measly 5 handfuls of gold.
I think you'll find that we're kind of a big deal around here,
boasts Bell.
We defeated the evil sorcerer known as the Mist, who was causing havoc in the nearby woods. We chased him down and served him justice. Now how about a discount for a couple of local heroes?
The GM asks Belle to make a presence action roll to see if her charm pays off with the shopkeep. She rolls a failure with fear. The GM gains a fear and makes his move, and a failure with fear should be a hard move. Example move number 6. I've heard of you. That was you? Says old Oswaldo, his eyebrows furrowing. My brother owned those horses you borrowed. He still hasn't had them back. You claim to be heroes, but I see nothing but thieves. Get out of my shop. Hold on, old man. Let's not get hasty. Our friend Ivy is returning the horses as we speak. Without them, we could not have saved this village. Your brother was a godsend in our hour of need. We all have much to thank him for. Oswaldo is unsure whether to believe this. Now it's Bjorn's turn to make a presence roll to convince him. He gets a success with fear. I see, says Oswaldo, still looking put out. Well, I'll be seeing my brother in an hour or so. I hope what you say is true. Because Bjorn rolled with fear, the GM needs to make a move. Example move number 7. The players notice something. The GM tells the players that as Oswaldo is talking, he uncrosses his arms and his shirt ruffles. The players noticed he is wearing a lapel pin depicting a rose. The players have seen this same lapel pin before, on the coat that the evil sorcerer was wearing.
Say, that's a nice pin,
says Belle. The GM describes how Oswaldo looks down at it and then smiles at the players. There's a glint in his eyes. Example move number 8. Spend fear just to make the players paranoid. This might be my favourite move of all. The GM describes that Oswaldo stares at the players. Then the GM slowly pushes a token across his fear tracker. He makes a show of this so that the whole party can see. Now the players are all wondering what's happening, and paranoia starts to set in. In reality, the GM has no further plans for this move. It's just to create a tonal shift in the scene. Belle and Bjorn back off slightly to whisper in the corner. This might mean he's in league with the Mist.
True, but it could just mean they shop at the same pin shop.
You saw how he smiled. There was something else going on there. This guy is slippery.
Should we come back later with Ivy? Maybe we could wait until the store closes and follow him, see where he goes.
No, I want to find out now. Let's rough him up a little.
What? Are you crazy? He might just be an innocent man.
We have to try. While this is going on, the GM decides to spend a fear and make another move to add even more tension to this scene. Example move number 9. The NPC's friends arrive. The GM describes how the bell above the door emits a gentle tring as it's pushed open and 2 burly characters step inside. Judging by their attire, they're local lumberjacks. "Bill, George," says Oswaldo with a broad grin. "How the devil are you?" The 2 newcomers approach the counter and begin chatting away with Oswaldo, like old friends. "Great," says Bjorn. "Now what?"
We only came in for a potion. Maybe we should leave it until next time.
No, we need that potion. Ivy's pretty torn up. I'm just gonna take it.
You're going to steal it?
I'll leave some gold for it. That shopkeeper is too busy with his friends. We've no time to mess about. As Bjorn reaches for the potion, the GM asks him to make a finesse roll to see if his actions are noticed. Bjorn gets a success, but with fear. The GM describes how Oswaldo is too busy with his friends to notice what's going on, but Bjorn rolled with fear, so the GM makes a move. Example move number 10. Someone sees what you did. The GM tells the players that as Bjorn puts the potion into his pocket, Bell notices a young lad staring at him through the window. The lad's mouth is open. Then he turns and runs away.
Go,
says Bell, shoving Bjorn out the door.
That lad saw you and thinks you stole it. He's no doubt running to the city watch. After him.
And we'll leave this scene here too. Both of these scenes might have played out very differently if the players had rolled better. But hey, that's the fun of rolling dice, right? I hope these examples were helpful for you. If you have your own ideas for GM moves in social situations, leave them in the comments below. That way, we can all learn together. Please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you want to see more videos like this. And until next time, please remember that confidence grows where comparison ends.